Hello everyone. Have you ever faced an unhappy patient in front of you? Instead of talking about his symptoms, he's complaining about the system and the attitude of staff at registration, and complaining about the sluggishness of insurance approvals, and complaining about the junior nurse who collected the blood wrongly from him or her? Have you ever faced a patient annoyed and your response is, "Sorry, this is the system"? Yeah, you are correct, it is a system problem. But have you ever tried to talk to your system in order to fix a problem? Unfortunately, the vast of healthcare providers, they have poor communication with their system. It's a time to know the alphabet of healthcare system. This is Dr. Rabia Mustafa Abu Layla. In this lecture, I will highlight the component of healthcare system. I will define the customer and the needs of the customer, and how to integrate the patient preferences within the business process. Stay tuned and welcome to this lecture. So, what is system? According to Deming, system is interconnected processes and people. In other words, it is interrelated processes and customer. If you want to address or upgrade your system, you need to talk to your processes and people. My question for you: do you know your customer? Do you have a tool that catches the whispers of the customers? How do you manage the customer feedback? Does the process provide what the customer expect and need? Does the process meet the customer's time frame? Does the interaction within your team member meet the patient needs? Does the process design are around the customer? If you are not confident about the previous questions, you need to upgrade the process to meet the customer expectation. Otherwise, you will have problems. The basic question here: why we focus on process? Because each process has a contribution and accountability to satisfy the external customer. More than this, to manage the maximum customer satisfaction while utilizing minimum resources. Moreover, process describes the relationships between supplier and the customers. Okay, great, good theory. So what's next? Let us see the patient flow process. This is embedded in every healthcare institution. The issues start with patient registration, then we triage the patient. We categorize the patient either emergency or outpatient department. Accordingly, the patient receives the treatment either in UCU or in OPD. Then the patient go to the cashier, then finally the pharmacist, then go to home. This is universal process. Now, if I ask you, who is the customer here? Look at the process and identify the customer. Many healthcare providers mention to me patient. Yeah, you're correct. Patient is a principal customer here, but is not the solo customer. Look at this picture. Patient is customer to the receptionist, but the receptionist is customer to the system and the process that we have in our institution. Patient is customer to the nurses, and nurses is customer to the system and the process that we provide. At the same time, nurse is customer to the receptionist. Patient is customer to the doctor, and doctor is customer to the system and the processes. At the same time, doctor is customer to the nurses. Patient is customer to the cashier, and cashier is customer to our system and our processes, and at the same time customer to the doctor. Again, patient is customer to the pharmacy, And pharmacy is customer to system and the processes, and the pharmacy is customer to the cashier. Patient is not only the customer here, we have many customers. Actually, the actual picture is more complicated. Look at this picture. Why the patient is customer to the receptionist in order to register him. At the same time, receptionist is customer to the patient, and the patient has to provide the proper ID and the proper information and proper insurance plan. So basically, this relationship is distributed all over the process. We have customer-supplier relationship. Receptionist is customer to the system and the process, that's correct. But again, the system and the processes are customer to the receptionist, and the receptionist has to give them what the feature that he need or she need in order to finish the processes, or finish the work. In the same way, nurses are customer to the doctor by giving a proper order, and doctor is customer to the nurses by giving proper triaging and the proper vital sign and do the proper procedure and X, Y, and Z. And this is everywhere, customer and supplier relationship. Patient is a principal customer, but he's not alone. We have many customers here. Doctor is a supplier, but he's not alone. All of them are suppliers. All of them are customers. This relationship is complicated. Any disturbance in any arrow, we will have a domino effect. We will have unhappy patient again. The origin of the domino effect here, that we are prioritizing the need of the customers. We are giving more attention to the patients. Look to the orange color here. And for some extent, we are ignoring the internal customer needs. Look to the red color here. This unbalanced attention will create immature process and incompetent staff. And definitely, the outcome will be unhappy patients. The solution is to address all needs of all customers. The question now is why I should make the internal customer equal to external customer is not logic. Actually, it's very logic. The external customer need is processed by internal customers. If I have incompetent staff and incompetent process, definitely I will have unhappy external customer. Imagine this, 60% of patient needs are finished by non-clinical staff. Registration, admission, discharge process, cashiering, insurance approval, all of this need two things: efficient process and competent staff. Shall we ignore the internal customer needs? Shall we ignore the process needs? We cannot. This is the basic of the quality. We should provide a proper structuring by giving a competent staff, a proper processing by giving a mature process, then we will have the outcome which is the happy patient. The thing start with internal customer, then external customers. Now the question is, how to satisfy the customers? Very simple and easy. Look to this. First, you need to list your customer. Then, identify the needs. Then create the process around the needs. And finally, meet the expectation of external customers. List, identify, create, communicate, and meet. List of your customer. It's very simple. We have internal customer and we have external customers. Internal customer like whom? Staff, HR, other departments. External customer like whom? Patients, families, third-party payers, other healthcare professionals. Now, how we identify their needs? It's very easy also. Either you go for the patient feedback, or you go for brainstorming session, or check the literature, or make interview or focus group, whatever you need, but you need to identify the needs by any means. This is a brief of customer needs. All customers want competency, reliability, accuracy, timeliness, responsiveness, access, courtesy, communication, credibility, security, and understanding. This is all types of customer needs. If you go for by category, staff needs competency. I want to be competent, give me training, efficient process, engage me, take feedback from my side, empowering, and appraisal process. You need to satisfy this in order to get a good job. Patient needs safe care, patient-centered care, effective care, efficient process, equitable service, and timeliness. This is the needs of payers: efficient pay process, effective care, clear communication. All customers can easily pinpoint the defect in a simple transaction. Patient in one encounter, he can tell you about the competency of the nurses and doctors, the reliability of our system. He can tell you the credibility and the communication, how we communicate with the patients in one simple encounter. So how they know this? How they can pinpoint the defect? Because they know their needs. The only way to meet their needs is to start by redesigning the interrelated process around the customers. You need to identify the processes, the interrelated processes, and start to redesigning them around the customer needs. How to upgrade the processes? Look to this flowchart. First, select the process. Then, define the process. Then map it. From this point, you have two ways. Either you go prospective by using failure mode effect analysis tool, or go retrospectively by using the customer feedback. These two ways can identify for you the opportunities. Let's talk about the first section, selection of process, defining the process and map it. Many people think the process is like this: registration, triage, ER, OPD, UC, cashier, pharmacy, and exit. This is CEO level process. It's high level process. When we talk about improvement, this is useless. We should go for frontline processes, taxi view, not helicopter view. People think the insurance process like this: patient has medical request, insurer coordinator process it, get the approval, do investigation, and get the results. But actually, the insurance process is like this. It's more complicated, it's more complex. Patient has request, he has to go to cashier, get the bills, and we know we need for insurance approval, coordinator is available or not, start auditing, scan it, upload it, send it to insurance company, get approval, yes, send SMS to the patient, partially approved, we need investigation, send the patient SMS, then rejected, send the justification. It's complicated. It's very complex process. If we want to talk about improvement, we should go for this level. This level of mapping. We identify the steps, and then we go for either FEMIA or customer feedback. FEMIA. Let's talk about FEMIA, failure mode effect analysis. This is a prospective, something not happened yet. We are just advanced. We are thinking in advance to prevent the problems. If you have this, congratulations. You have a very good management, and you are very advanced in management. How to do FEMIA? It's very easy. First, you need to list all the steps. Like here, medical request, patient leave the hospital, coordinator audit, upload the request, send the request to insurance, all the list. Then, in the FEMIA, there is something called potential failure. For each step, what are the potential failure for each step? What the potential effect of this failure? How severe? How likely it happened? How detectable? And at the end, we calculate something called RPN number or risk priority number. Now, let's give an example. Now, for example, send the request to the insurance. What is the potential failure or are potential failures? Delay in reply. What the effect of this? Delay of conduction of investigation. How severe and how likely or how detectable there is table for this. It's not something we need to to invent. There is a table and you follow the table. How severe? It's about 8. It can cause a problem for the patient. How likely to happen? It's about 7, 1 in 100 patients. How detectable? Is it easily detectable? Yes, it's easy to detect. It's almost 1. And the RPN number is just multiply 8 times 7 times 1. It will be like 56. And for each step, you calculate the RPN and start from the highest number. And then redesign the process around the customer and the internal customer. What about the customer feedback? How we process the customer comments? It's very easy way. We have around 23 categories of a problem in ambulatory care. First step, you need to classify the comment and then identify the feature that the patient wants. This is, for example, billing and insurance process features. What the patient wants? Patient wants fast payment, different payment method, billing should be detailed, digital billing, quick approval, instant approval. These features what patient wants from us. So first, we classify the comment, then we concluded the feature from the comment of the patient. This is the feature that we want to work on it. Then you can apply what we call Kano model. Kano model, it classifies customer preferences into 5 categories. Must be quality, which is basic. One-dimension equality, which is expected or performance need. Attractive equality, which is delighter. Indifferent equality and reverse equality. So you need to classify these comments or these preferences into these 5 categories. Which one is must be equality? Which one is one-dimension equality? Which one attractive and which was indifferent and which one is reverse? Let's define each one alone. What is must be? Must be quality is basic requirement of a product or service. It's just basic. The absence of these lead to high dissatisfaction. Look to this x-axis. The x-axis is not implemented and fully implemented. The y-axis showing the satisfied and dissatisfied. This must be, if fully implemented, this bring just normal satisfaction. It is must be, should be there. For example, fast payment, no queue. This is must be. We shouldn't have payment time while patient paying. No queue. This is called must be feature. What about one-dimensional? One-dimensional, these features lead to proportional increase in customer satisfaction. Yeah, proportional increase in customer satisfaction. Like what? Quick insurance approval. Imagine patient come to you and you give approval within 30 minutes for insurance and do the blood test. This is something good. When you have it, we have a proportional increase in customer satisfaction. Attractive, these features lead to disproportional increase in customer satisfaction. Disproportional, that one proportional here, disproportional. If you don't include them, customer might not even notice that. But if you include them, the customer will be excited. Look at the graph. If you include them, it will be exponential increase in the satisfaction. Like what? Instant approval of insurance. Once I applied for insurance, he gave me instant approval. If you have this, the patient will be delighted. The indifferent preferences, these features do not have any effect on the customer satisfaction. It really does not make any difference if you add them or not add them. For example, digital billing. So I don't care if you send it to my email or not. Indifferent. And the reverse attributes, this presence of these features lead to extreme dissatisfaction, and the absence of them lead to the customer satisfaction. So their presence causing annoying to the patient, you have to remove it. For example, payment up front and then refund. This kind of attribute, you should remove it because it causes a lot of dissatisfaction. At the end, you can create a table like this. You put all the features, and then you start to put which feature must be and which one must one-dimensional, which one attractive, and which one indifferent, which one reverse attribute. And then you put the plan, and you start with must be feature, then one-dimensional, then attractive. If you notice, I don't put indifferent, I don't put reverse. These both features should be removed from the beginning. In your plan, you should start with must be feature by redesigning the process around the customer. Thank you. This was Dr. Rabi Mustafa Abu Layla. Always remember, to satisfy your customer, you need to list them, identify the needs, create the process, communicate with the internal customer, and meet the external customer. Thank you.